for increasing hotel stays because we've got to get more bed tax generated. The current investment of hotel rooms and campsites generates countywide about $1 million, but that is only at 47% occupancy. So what it means is that current investment is underutilized. So we feel like if we expanded this park and built in a covered arena here, and then to the north on the other side of the trees, if we built in a small concert facility, then we felt like we could maximize this park's usage, also maximize the proximity of this park to Interstate 10, and furthermore, its proximity to the beach. The Highway 87 corridor is clearly the best corridor for us to promote tourism development on. It's a central location. That brings up the subject of how these facilities could be used during the week. We have really looked to see if we make this investment, we procure the investment from the state, and then we add recreational dollars to achieve this goal, then what would the usage be? We don't need to build facilities and have them be empty. So we have broken down our planning process into the days of the week. What will happen here Monday through Friday, and what will happen here, say, Friday night through Sunday. So we see in the covered facility an area where local produce can be collected, sorted through, packaged, and distributed under our Panhandle Fresh Marketing Association's program. That's a program that is part of Team Santa Rosa's Agricultural Business Committee. It allows for local growers to produce specialty crops that then can be retailed to Walmart, grocery stores. I think we should look at last year as a test year, and so it is true that through a contract with Walmart, local growers were able to retail specialty crops, and total sales were $300,000. So we feel like the next step to grow that program is to have a facility where centralization, collection, and distribution can occur.
And that's something that doesn't necessarily just apply to big farmers. I mean, even smaller landowners can participate.
Yes, ma'am, that's exactly right. And that is something that people really have not realized yet about the program. And it's natural because it's just in its first phases. A small farmer, a family in their backyard, a medium-sized farmer or family on 5 acres or 10 acres is certainly welcome to produce a specialty crop, and any surplus that they have can become part of the product that is collected and serves to satisfy the needs of grocery stores. So absolutely, large-scale farmers can participate. It is clearly not designed specifically for them. It is really something that everybody can do. So we think it will grow. The trend in growing your own food, I think, is a sustainable one, or one that will have some longevity because of rising fuel costs and its correlation to rising food costs.
In other news this week, county officials are moving forward with plans to turn 269 acres by Whiting Field into an aviation industrial park. The park will be designed to attract aviation-related business. We're going to close tonight with some excerpts from this week's commission hearing on proposed upgrades to the park. The first phase includes $315,000 in upgrades and a master plan projected to cost $115,000. Jeff Helms, Vice President of Pensacola-based PBS&J, who are overseeing the project, was on hand to answer questions at Monday's hearing.
Now, what we're going to do is take a process that started 7 years ago, update it, take into account the existing grades so you have a realistic look at the cost. We're going to develop 3 concepts. We're going to meet with your engineering staff, we're going to meet with your planning staff, and we're going to meet with you and anybody in the public that's interested. We want all of these groups to be comfortable with this master plan because it's really a 20-year master plan, and that's the future of this particular park. We're going to look at drainage, roadways, taxiways, what are the different infrastructure. In fact, who are the folks that would be interested? What are the companies that would be interested in locating here? What's the competition? In other words, what's the demand? What's the forecast?
How will this integrate into with what we have at Peter Prince and potential access from the east side of the runways there, and how we might define the purpose? I know the emphasis is on this new park, but there may be some things that are more appropriate at one or the other.
Right. This would not be general aviation. General aviation will remain at Peter Prince, and the purpose here is to create an independent type facility, and independent in the means that you'd be eligible potentially for some additional state funds. And part of this whole process in developing the airport layout plan is to go before the Department of Transportation, work closely with them, and develop a plan that they are comfortable with and they will approve, thereby making you eligible for state funds. Now, to do that, this is a very unique project. It's an enhanced use lease, it's through the fence, so we're kind of breaking new ground with them. Okaloosa Regional Airport has this same type scenario, but it's a commercial aviation application. So y'all are breaking some new ground. It's very innovative, and so they're interested in looking at this. I've already had a preliminary meeting with the folks, and they're interested in seeing the enhanced use agreements and see how we come up with a master plan, how it develops in relation to their overall the Department of Transportation's work program. So did I answer?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, clearly this is
it's a separate need.
Separate need, and there
Absolutely.
may be questions that come up as we develop this park that somebody may or may not be appropriate for this site, and may be more appropriate in the other site, or vice versa.
General aviation part, right, with the hangars. You're doing a good job with the hangars at Peter Prince already.
Mr. Chairman, I know, Jeff, it was just a slip of the tongue, but it's not enhanced use agreement. It's limited access.
Limited access, I'm sorry.
And it's a big difference there.
There is a difference.
And I know you know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh.
Jeff, a couple things on here, you know, in the task management here, the task 3 and of course task 4 seem to be things that we've already pretty much covered. Where's the bulk of mainly PBS and Jay's involvement in this going to be? I appreciate you guys getting it, because I know you're very well versed in aviation and you know, bring a lot of, you know, commitment and contacts to the table. But I was concerned with, you know, reinventing the wheel.
We don't want to reinvent the wheel. Really, 3 and 4, we're going to pull all of that information together. As far as 3 specifically, and I'm going to provide it to the Department of Transportation, and I'm going to get them to package it and give it to them so they can have some preliminary information on the site. And then as we work with them, they'll have the background information. As far as forecast for aviation demand, you know, in justification for any kind of aviation project, you've got to have, you know, you got to have a demand. You have to have a need in justifying it to the taxpayers, and that's what this does. This looks at a regional basis, where what's the competition, who would actually invest money in this site, what type of facilities, what type of industry would relocate here, and so we're going to help you with some of that information. We know that Bob Sykes Airport has been very successful. That's and they're building out, and I'm not aware of a lot of other major infrastructure. Corey Field are working on something, but I do not know exactly how that's going to end up structuring and what kind of tenants they're going to be looking at. So we're going to provide that information that I don't remember that information being provided in the past. And that also helps the Department of Transportation. Why are they doing this? You know, what's the purpose? So those are those 2 items, that's the real need. Now the bulk of all the work is on the airport development and the capital improvement program and the airport layout plan drawings, and doing the preliminary drainage, looking at the earthwork, developing a digital train model that Roger is comfortable with, and you are comfortable with in terms of developing the construction costs for the various projects.
It says here we're going to look at perform analysis on three different potential layouts of this park.
That's correct.
How in depth, in order to conserve dollars, as you said earlier, dollars are important nowadays, and we got to make them go as far as we can. How minimal can that be?
Excuse me. We felt like we need at least 3 concepts, and we can do variations of those as we get into the project and meet with your planning and engineering staff. But I think you need at least 3 solid concepts, okay? And then you can kind of pick them apart, pros and cons, and you look at the earthwork associated with them. I think that's very important because we do have some grades on the site.